All right, episode 4 of the ALBA. We are joined by Director of AS Mortgage Partners, which is part of the broader Alexander Spencer Group here in the beautiful Camberwell office. Hish Kasem, welcome and thanks for joining.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Good to be here.
You're welcome. Beautiful office. How long have you been out here for?
18 months. Yeah, just ticked over. So that was quite the journey. We were out at the Burwood end of Camberwell. We're still Camberwell, but I reckon just by a few centimetres.
Postcode matters. Suburb matters.
Can, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, we were on the hunt for a new office for a while. The group was. And yeah, this is the new home that we found. So I think the fit out took about 6 to 9 months. Then we moved in. Everyone's really happy here, so it's good. It's a good place to come.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You walk on the floor and you know that. I think people take a lot of pride when you've got a premises that you'd be comfortable to showcase with your clients. And yeah, the fit out just replicates that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we had that in mind. So like we knew that we wanted to actually host clients here, and I mean not just to come in for business, like for advice, etc. But to actually do events, and you know we've hosted a few events here.
Yep.
And so the space was built with that in mind, and we've hosted some really good events here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the one last year was great. Talking all things commercial.
Yeah.
It's a really good space. So I like in most conversations you go from where it started to where we are now, but I wouldn't mind starting from where we are now.
Yeah.
And working backwards. So
yeah, okay.
Because those who aren't part from the southeast of Melbourne or even Melbourne wouldn't know much about maybe the Alexander Spencer brand.
Yeah.
So it'd be great to get some context about the group, the division you lead.
The heart of this business, the Alexander Spencer Group, is an accounting firm. It is. That's sorry, not I believe it is.
Yep.
Could have my dates wrong here, but I think it's 1970 or 1972.
Wow.
Okay, I've got to go double check that.
Yeah.
And so that's when the accounting firm formed, but it really took a growth trajectory in the last, say, 10 years is when it really took a growth trajectory. It was always an accounting firm, but the accounting firm wanted to offer the holistic, full service to its clients. And so the first business to actually join that, to make that come to life, was actually AS Mortgage Partners, which is where I'm part of that business.
Yep.
However, the managing director, so my business partner, James, he was the founder of that along with the accounting group here.
Right.
And that's 8 years ago.
Yep.
That's 8 years ago. And then so in quite quick succession, general insurance joined, bookkeeping, wealth advisory, and I am missing one. The most recent one is
mergers?
Consulting. Yeah, mergers, like
M&A.
M&A. Yep. Yes, correct. Yeah. So I've been part of that journey for the last 3 years, and I've witnessed quite a bit of that growth.
Yep.
How I came on board was my business partner James.
Yep.
I worked at NAB. I was a business banker there. I had a group of brokers that I looked after.
Yep.
So the area in NAB I worked in specifically looked after brokers. It's called Commercial Broker. And James was one of those, along with actually quite a big group of NAB ex-bankers, if I'm being quite honest. But they were their own brokerages. James and I aligned really well. And we had a conversation, catching up. And the managing director of the accounting firm was there as well. And I thought, something a bit more to this conversation today.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It had been on my mind for 2 years though.
Yeah.
I was thinking about what I was doing next for 2 years in the transition, and what was really playing on my mind at the time was to all the bankers out there, please don't be upset at this one, but we play an important role at the bank, like putting it together, approving the deals, making them happen, making dreams happen. I know they have to take finance on to do that, but essentially it does make dreams happen. But at the end of the day, you're the banker. You're not the advisor. You're not the one with the relationship.
Correct.
And I really wanted to transition from that to the one having the relationship with the client.
Yeah.
And that was the big reason.
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah.
Awesome. But equally, that would be, and then I suppose at Alexander Spencer, with the relationship it has with its current client base through its accounting history.
Yep.
There's a certain level of experience and expertise.
For sure.
Was there anything that you had to realign to or acclimatise to as part of that transition?
Yeah, definitely. One of the big things I noticed was the speed.
Okay.
So don't get me wrong, things move fast here, but it's just a different level of speed. Like the bank, like I feel like I was working at probably 150, 200% occupancy all the time.
Sure.
And that initial adjustment, so don't get me wrong, I feel like I'm working at full occupancy now, but I just don't feel burnt to the ground.
Yeah.
You know, you work at the bank, you have a lot of customers coming in.
Yeah.
I had a lot of brokers I was aligned to.
Yeah.
Those brokers had a lot of business. You know, it was just like, it's a compliment to have a lot of business to do, but it's also like, it's a lot too.
Totally. Yeah.
So that was the biggest adjustment I noticed, was the speed.
Yeah.
I had to adjust to what is a new, feels like a new normal fast to me.
Yeah. It's a good way of describing it. It doesn't mean it's slow or worse off, but yeah, it's just different.
It's different.
And then if we use that as an entry point to your NAB days, so you finished at NAB as a business
banker. Yeah.
So your role was managing a client base.
So it was actually managing a group of brokers.
And was that based on volume or based on local area market?
So it was a quite unique offering that NAB still has. It hasn't changed as far as I'm aware. They still have the offering, which was so I was a business banker, but I held a credit authority for home lending and business lending.
Yeah, great.
And so when my brokers spoke to me, they had, if I said it was going to work, they had the confidence that this is going through.
Yeah.
And we could do some really, like, I mean, now that I've stepped out of NAB, I know that it's funky. Like, we could do deals based on a projection.
Yeah.
Based on half year's financial and the rest projected out.
Yeah.
Based on, you know, a contract that's been signed that's going to deliver X revenue.
Yeah.
And we were doing those in the home lending space with business lending attached.
Yeah, great.
And so for those who play in the home lending space, they know that that's pretty out there.
Yeah.
Not a lot of lenders are doing that.
Of course.
So it was a good time.
Yeah.
It taught me to my thinking hat always was on about, particularly if I believed in it, like, how do we make this work?
Yeah, if there's a deal to be done.
If there's something to be done here, how do we make it work?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And I still have that mentality.
So most people that know you, that I know, would say one of your super strengths is that you make the complex sound simple. Now, your niche and what you're good at is commercial lending. So can you break down why commercial lending perhaps either is a passion of yours or is simple to you, and how do you then explain that simpleness of business lending to someone who wants to learn more about it?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I think what I do is I do acknowledge that it can be complex. I think actually I'm just really honest, like, with clients. I say, look, this structure can be seen to be complex.
Yep.
However, I'm going to break it down and make it really simple for when we go to the bank. And I try to remove as much noise as possible. I try hone in and focus in on the easiest way to present it. And move away from jargon, move away from bank language, even move away from broker language as well.
Yeah.
And just make sure it's really well understood. And by how I do that is you clarify along the way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like sometimes I'll get to the end, I'll actually ask the client, all right, so now we've gone through all of that. I just want to check what your understanding of that was. Like, how'd you interpret how am I moving? How did you hear that I'm moving forward on this?
Yeah.
And if it's close enough, and then we're aligned. It doesn't have to be 100%.
As long as we understand.
If we're understanding each other, we're good.
Yeah. And that can be very tricky with business owners, even though there is an element of, whether it's sophistication, but just business acumen. It's pretty easy for these things to be misunderstood.
Yeah, you're right. I think the other thing is because I live and breathe it so often, I think sometimes I do forget, and I appreciate it, but I just don't realize that my skill set is, it's like not everyone can actually do it or make it simple. But I think because I do it all the time.
It's repetition.
It's repetition.
Yeah, absolutely. So then that would then mean you've got an element of continuity with your client profiles.
Yeah.
So who they are,
Yeah.
the type of businesses they run,
Yeah.
how long they've been running for.
Yeah.
And then you then naturally know, based on the structure they're running their business through and the lender at that time, or where they may not fit. So can you give some context around the type of customers that you deal with? Who are they in terms of business? When they present to you, what are they presenting as structure-wise?
Yeah.
And then maybe take us through the Hish experience around how you then navigate them to get the finance they need.
Yeah, that's a great question as well. So I guess because I know it from the bank's point of view, like I remember I was sitting on the other side looking at these risks and ultimately approving the deal, right? So I'll give you a classic example. So only a few weeks ago, I had someone come to me wanting to buy a cafe in Mentone. So I picked up the phone, had a conversation, and I started asking some very strategic questions with a lot of purpose.
Yep.
Because I know what the bank is looking out for.
Yeah.
So what industry experience do you have?
Yeah. So questions relating to their capability.
Yeah. Starting to think of, depending on the answer to that, I'll ask follow-on questions. So
because straight off the bat, the bank's not going to lend money to someone who wants to buy a cafe who's never run a cafe before. Like they may not. There'd be a high chance they would be unlikely to do that. So then, how do you mitigate?
Yeah, you have to mitigate it.
Correct.
So if they've never run a cafe before, then the questions start becoming about, okay, tell me a bit about your day-to-day job, what you currently do. And I have to start thinking of the transferable skills.
Yes. Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you never run a cafe before doesn't mean it's a hard no. Because I'm also asking about if they do have property, are they willing to utilize equity there? Or if they're not willing to do that, do they have cash to put in as well?
Yeah.
Because when I was working at the bank, we called that skin in the game.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, you want X amount. It's X to buy the cafe.
Yeah.
200,000.
What are you putting in?
What are you putting in?
Yeah.
You can't come to us and ask us 200. So we take on all the risk.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
All the risk with no security, possibly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you could possibly ask for 200 if you got a house with a lot of equity in it.
Correct.
Right. But still, that's not enough though. That wouldn't be enough on its own.
Okay.
If you've got no experience.
Yeah.
They're going to want to. I'm going to have to mitigate how you can bring transferable skills to that business.
Yeah.
And what is your plan? Like, what's your business plan?
Yeah.
Right. Because it would be very odd for someone in my shoes, for example, to pick up the phone and say, I want to buy a cafe tomorrow.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So then, how do you? If the client, what weight does the relationship with the bank at that time have? So, you're trying to mitigate the capability element and skin in the game, but what if they already have an existing relationship with the bank? Does that carry more weight?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Particularly in the space where we're applying for business lending, it's going to come down to when there's a key risk, what are the mitigants to the key risk? Yeah. And look, it's going to come down to the relationship with the business banker as well.
Yeah.
Right? So definitely if you're already self-employed, if you are already self-employed, there's a likelihood you may have a relationship with a business banker.
Yep.
So that could be helpful, beneficial. But again, you're still not getting the full breadth of the full market. And I find a lot of my clients who are self-employed already, a lot of my clients are self-employed, small businesses. Yeah. I definitely play in the small business space. I'm happy to put my hand up. I don't really play in like the medium to large end of town for in terms of businesses, size of revenue they do, etc. So my businesses that I deal with tend to be, anywhere from $500,000 of revenue up to $25 million of revenue.
Absolutely.
So that's sort of my space, that's still considered small business at that level.
Yep.
Even at the 25. So I find my clients, they want to know what the market is offering.
Yeah.
Even if they do have a relationship with X Bank, they are interested to know what X Bank's going to offer them that they have the relationship with, but they want to know, they want 3 other offers.
Yeah.
So I tend to find that my business clients want to know what the market is offering and doing. Yeah.
And then an extension of that would be then, or consideration, is industry risk.
Yeah.
So different industries
Absolutely.
to the lens of the bank
Yeah.
would be considered high risk, low risk, and
Yeah.
way into it. So maybe just some context about what industry risk is. How does the bank look at it? And then maybe some industries that are of concern or a watch for you with your clients at the moment.
Yeah, so industries that have a low barrier to entry. So what that means is
mortgage broking.
mortgage broking. That is one.
Right.
Honestly,
okay.
Mortgage broking is a low barrier to entry.
It's through the lens of the bank.
Well, not through the lens of the bank. Like in general, it is through the lens of the bank. Look, it's a professional's business.
Yeah.
And you can actually use your trail book to borrow money off with the bank. I think professionals, businesses in general with banks are a lower risk. Don't get me wrong, there's obviously high risks within every industry, but it is a lower risk.
Sure.
But I know one that was red hot, which is stabilizing, was the construction industry at one point.
Yep.
I mean, we probably all remember a period not too long ago where there was some builder in the news that was shutting down. Well,
that was and even beyond that, before that, that's where where private lenders primarily were born out of, right, to solve that problem.
Yep, absolutely, correct. That's right, exactly right. And that space is growing and growing in the private lending space.
Yep.
More and more private lenders popping up.
Yep.
And they have a place in the market. I have used private lenders for a few clients.
Yep.
I mean, I know another high risk industry is in general, it is like the cafe
hospitality
industry.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So
the bank would then treat that as a matter of they just put more weight.
Yeah.
Or therefore more skin in the game is required on the borrower side.
Possibly, yeah. Absolutely. The pricing maybe might not be as sharp.
Yeah, the pricing just reflects the risk.
The pricing will reflect the risk.
Yeah.
So I mean, another example is so the other end of this is let's say I had a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
That really low risk.
Yeah.
It's
the pricing will reflect.
Banks have internal ratings, modeling.
Yeah.
And one of the areas is you have to pick the industry, and then it will ask you specific questions about the client, and you get a rating at the end. Now that industry does have a lot of weight on the rating they get at the end.
Yeah, okay.
And that rating they get at the end then
plays a big factor in the price.
Big factor on the price.
Yeah. And it's the same. It's almost like the same, which people don't struggle to see from time to time. When in property, they look at yield as the thing, and we all want great yield, but yield to an element reflects the risk of the asset.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And so some people would say I can get a residential property in Corio, Geelong at 6%, but you know what, Corio, and I'm talking about Corio a fair bit lately, but Corio has a very low socio-economic profile, unemployment, a lot that's going on with it. You probably want 8% yield to reflect that actual profile of the market, such as the risk you're taking. And it's the same principle of how the bank treats risk through price.
Through price, yes.
Yeah.
With a model that gives the client a rating based on the business, the industry that they're in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, that's one factor. And they look at the business itself. They look at the cash flow of the business, the balance sheet of the business. Yeah. So there's other factors in it, but it is a very important factor in it overall.
Yeah. And then the commercial market in general. Yeah. From maybe put property to the one side.
Yeah.
What are you seeing? How are you observing it? How are your clients reacting? What's the market looking like through your eyes?
My clients who have good businesses, I've done experiencing year-on-year growth. I've seen it consistently for 3-4 years. They're taking some risk and actually investing heavily and more into their business.
Great.
Creating a process, through an app that their employees, need to log work on, etc. So I am seeing that. Like you said, machineries, vehicles, even to the extent where they're forward thinking, they might be leasing a premises at the moment, but now I'm moving to property a bit, but they are thinking about, it's like that lease is coming to an end. Do I want to extend the option, or actually am I in a position maybe to to buy a property.
Sure. Yeah. Are they doing that first, do you think, or is it a mixed bag? Like when I say first, like the one that's got the lease renewing, but they may not have the app that they need to grow or invest in technology in their business. Like, are they preferring to invest in the business first before they?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes. I do see that.
Interesting.
So I do see that they're investing more in the business first.
Yeah.
Whether that be through vehicles, machinery, making sure they've got the right people as well as teams, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Depending on how they run their business, and then when they're seeing that that's steady or stabilized and they feel they've got that under control, then I'm seeing the lean into do we consider buying our own commercial premises?
Well, then, if we then use then property as a segue into the property market, because you do the residential and commercial finance for property.
Yes.
Housing market. Your clients, whether first home buyers, commercial buyers. What's your observations and what are you seeing currently?
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. 'Cause stepping out of the bank with the business bank background, I actually thought I'd be doing a lot more commercial, but actually, and it makes sense now that I think about it. It's more of a 70% split is residential and 30% is commercial.
Which is a lot higher split compared to most brokers.
Yeah, and I think about it, and like I said before, I play a lot in the small business space. And so, it tends to they're buying their own occupied house first or an upgrade to that house or thinking about an investment. And then the commercial property might be part of the journey. Also, in the journey of their business, as I said, I'm seeing the pattern of them investing in their business first. So I do think there's going to be a run for the next few years of clients now looking to look at the commercial property.
Yeah.
But that's where I am in my journey with my clients. Yeah. Or their journey. That's their journey, and I'm part of that. I'm facilitating that journey.
Yeah.
So that's what I've realised, and so I've helped a lot of upgrade of the family home.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of first home buyers as well, and I definitely saw an uptick of that come 1st of October with the changes.
Yeah. And you were just telling me about a referral you had about someone who was waiting a week from their broker. Yeah. And then you were very quick and efficient, which is your standard process.
Yes.
The client was surprised of the different experience, and you're like, well, this is business as usual for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I made that a real point to the client. I said, look, I'm not trying to blow smoke or anything, but this is just standard.
Yeah, this is us. Yeah, it's how we work.
This is how we work. We get off the strategy session, and you got an email with a summary, and it's very clear about who's doing what next steps, and you're going to hear from me in a couple of days' time.
Yeah, how would you describe your time at the bank?
They the bank, and it's NAB, by the way. May as well just share that. I don't know why I'm hiding it. NAB. I must say they do actually put a lot of time and effort into their employees, and I'm talking about training.
Yeah.
If I think about it, they would back in the day, we would coach on how we'd talk to clients.
Yeah.
On listening. Simple skills of listening, because it is easy to cut people off. Asking open questions. That was one of them.
Yeah.
Open questions.
Yeah, business owners love talking about themselves. Just keep them talking.
Correct.
Open questions.
Yes, open questions. So I definitely do take those things away outside of the credit stuff you said.
Yeah.
Being accountable as well at the bank, the responsiveness, where that comes from is the bank. The bank.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the be and all and end all to get these skills from the bank. There would be a lot of good people in our profession,
of course,
who have not come from a banking background. But all I'm saying is the bank did. Yeah. They did this well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You've just reminded me, working in small business when we would recruit people new to bank.
Yeah.
And back then, just how hard it was to learn commercial, small business lending, and retail, with the systems that we had, and we had people sitting there, I think that's where the culture of the bank and these teams really came to fruition. Like, and it's going to take time, and every customer you speak to is very different. But we know it might take more time to actually figure it out, given you're learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, they're good skills, soft skills, experiences that have probably kept the better bankers' careers going. Yeah.
But I do remember the difference when I moved from home lending.
Yeah.
Again, I made the conscious effort to move into business lending and learn business lending.
Yeah.
And even though there are principles that are definitely the same from home lending to business lending, but I initially thought when I made that change, I was like, I've got a decent, steady understanding and base here.
Yeah.
And I remember being shocked for those first 3 months.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Your experience with buyers agents.
Yep.
Like you clearly come from a firm and background where you've got a lot of mature clients, resi and commercial, which from a buyer's advocate point of view is a haven.
Yes.
But talk to us about the role that buyer's agents have played in your world, your market, your clients.
Yeah, I mean, like just to take it back to a conversation I had with a client yesterday, he sees this opportunity. His income's grown quite a lot with a job change in the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
Added a couple of hundred to his income, and he goes, I want to seize the opportunity here, with this new role. I want to look at investing. So we held the session, full strategy session. It's going to happen in 3 parts. This is what we're doing. And so I said to him at the end, I go, so you want to buy an invested property or properties? I goes, how are you going to do it?
Yeah.
How? I know you're a very technical person, because his job was highly technical.
Yeah.
Smart guy, really, really intelligent.
Yeah.
But I go, do you have the time?
Yeah.
You talked about buying nationally as well. So, I actually said to him, you really should consider. You really should consider talking to a buyer's agent.
Yeah.
And I did. I spoke about ALBA, and I said, I go, look, these guys have vetted nationally by buyer's agents.
Yeah.
And it would be worth having a chat to them.
Yeah, awesome.
So I believe in it.
Yep.
I must be really honest and say, initially when I started 3 years ago as a broker stepping out of the bank, because that's actually when I first really heard about it. To be when
you stepped out.
When I stepped out.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
It does. I didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand it, and it took me time to understand it and get it. But I do really see the value. Yeah. And personally, when I am in a position, which won't be, I don't think, not too distant future, which is a nice position to be in, I'm not going to be doing it on my own. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, correct. Could be a mil.
Our buyer's agent in WA, who works for Acumentis Licensed Valuer, he has a saying. Yeah. He uses with every client. Yeah. Make a 10% error on $1 million deal. Yeah. That's what? $100,000 error. Yeah. Versus an investment of 18 grand into a property professional who knows the market intimately well. You've instantly mitigated your risk. You've instantly justified the investment as opposed to looking at it through a cost.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know some people have the opinion of, property over time, any property over time should do all right. Yeah. And I go, I sort of think to myself, there's probably a little bit of truth behind that, but I would still much rather do it with a lot more intent and focus and data and get it really right.
Totally, 100%. Yeah.
I want to nail it as best as possible.
It's your risk banking experience coming out there, mate.
It's maturing a bit more, but it's still very early, I think.
I think it's maturing just by the sheer volume of buyers advocates out there that no one can tell you how many there are. But just because there's a lot doesn't mean it's mature, to your point.
Yeah.
And I think, and like any new relationship or partner you have, the more you do it, more repetition, that continuity, then you can see the maturity in it. But you're right. I mean, people don't trust real estate agents, right? So why on earth would people just have an instant alignment to the buyer's advocate, which it just comes back to always providing that education.
Education is key.
Correct.
And in the sessions I do with my clients, particularly the first one, it's all education. When I hear I've learned so much, that makes me really really happy.
And that's why they come back to the advisor, right? That's the role you play.
Yeah.
your experience with ALBA. How have you found that?
Really transparent. When I think of ALBA, I think of transparency. The clients that I've put to ALBA, when I've had a conversation with them, have felt a level of trust from that first phone call.
Yeah.
And that the person that they're working with is really working for them. That's the big thing. Yeah. That's the big one I'm getting. That's the big piece of feedback.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, awesome. And I know you're an advocate of the calculator.
I am. I use it.
Yeah.
I use it part of my strategy session.
Yeah. Heard it on radio as well.
Yes, I did. I was just on a nothing big, just a very local radio, but it was a good experience.
Yeah,
I did a good experience. It was live.
Well. Yeah.
You know, I don't know if
someone's going to tell your story.
But
yeah.
But I did mention actually how I use that calculator.
Yeah.
Because the show was called Bricks and Mortar. So it's all about the property market.
Of course.
So there was some intent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I use it. I talk to the client. I say, what areas you're looking at, plug it in, and we talk about what it's showing.
Yeah, the misgrowth.
Yeah, the misgrowth, what the potential is.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's good to hear a broker putting it to good use.
Yes.
It's funny how you spend more time with someone when they leave the bank.
Yeah.
Than you do. Or maybe it's more meaningful quality time.
I think it's more meaningful. That's what it is. Because when you go to the office space with that person, you know, obviously they've got tasks on their mind, you've got tasks on your mind. So
you're not present.
The relationship you have, it's not present. And it's very high and by. It's respectful.
Of course.
But that's just what it is.
Yeah, totally.
And so when you step out, you actually get to know them.
Yeah.
Appreciate you supporting the soccer club.
Pleasure. Alba's always happy to support.
So,
but no, it's been good to when we talk about your capability and the niche of client you deal with.
Yeah.
It's always refreshing to hear that through the lens of how the bank sees a client.
Yeah.
And as I said up front, a lot of our system and network know you for breaking down the complex into a really simple way. Mm-hmm. And it's no surprise why your clients refer their friends and family because you make sure the complex is easy to understand. And that's ultimately why people come to you for that support and advice. So well done.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
For coming out, for having the chat. And all the best in the future.
Cheers, mate. You too.
Appreciate
it. Thanks, mate.